Why do trees never get lost in the forest? Because they always have their roots in the right place, even when it is raining outside. Why do trees always seem so calm during a rainstorm? Because they are experts at branching out and just going with the flow of nature. Why did the gardener bring a ladder to the forest? Because he wanted to reach the high branches to see if the rain was finally going to stop. Why did the forest take a nap? Because it was feeling a little bit sapped after all that rain, so it decided to branch out and rest for a while. Why did the stone go to school? Because it wanted to be a little bolder, but now it is perfectly placed here in the forest to guide the way home. Why did the fire go to school? Because it wanted to get a little brighter and eventually become a hotshot in its chosen field.
They say that true peace is found where the mountains meet the earth, and here, surrounded.
Why do trees always have so many friends? Because they have a lot of branches, and they are very good at rooting for each other in the woods. Why do trees always have so many friends? Because they have a lot of branches, and they are very good at rooting for each other in the woods. Why do trees never get lost? Because they always manage to find their roots in the forest, and they know exactly where they stand in the world. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. Why did the bread go to the doctor? Because it was feeling crummy and just needed a little bit of time to rise to the occasion. Why do construction workers always make great friends? Because they are really good at building strong relationships and always know how to support each other in the long run. Why do trees never get lost in the forest? Because they always manage to find their way back to their roots. Why do trees always seem to know when it is time for the wind to blow? Why did the mushroom go to the party? Because he was a fungi to be around. Why did the fire go to school? Because it wanted to get a little brighter. Why do mountains make such great travel companions? Because they are always up to the climb. The mountain air feels so fresh and clear today. It is truly incredible to stand here and witness how Why do trees always seem so calm? Because they're excellent at staying rooted in their decisions while growing towards the light, one branch at a time.
Welcome to this little sanctuary I have spent so much time building. Every stone and beam here has a story, and I am glad to finally share it with you.
Why do they call it a fireplace if the fire stays in the hearth running? I suppose it is because the heat is the real guest of honor. Why did the bed go to school? Because it wanted to be a little smarter while it was busy resting and dreaming about the great forest outdoors. Why did the carpenter bring a ladder to the bar?
He heard the drinks were on the house, and he wanted to reach them easily. Why do gardeners always seem so calm? Because they know how to handle all their problems from the ground up and grow through them slowly every situation. Why do trees always seem to know the best secrets? I suppose it is because they have spent so many years just standing around listening to everything. The storm is rolling in faster than I expected, but these beams should hold firm against the wind once I get the rope tied tight. Why do trees always seem so calm during a storm? Because they are experts at weathering the pressure and just know how to branch out and relax. Why do we write in journals? To capture the fleeting moments that might otherwise vanish into the storm, ensuring our thoughts find a quiet home among the pages.
Why did the tree get an award?
Because it was outstanding in its field. Why do fishermen never share their secrets? Because they are afraid that someone will find out that they have been hooked on the job all along. Why did the storm bring an umbrella to the party? Because it heard there was going to be a heavy downpour and wanted to stay completely dry. Why did the fire break up with the wood? Because it felt like their relationship was just going up in smoke. Why did the pencil go to the shop to buy an eraser? Because it wanted to get to the point and fix all its mistakes. Why is the sky blue? Because the atmosphere scatters sunlight in all directions, and blue light travels in shorter, smaller waves, making it more visible to our eyes.
Why did the gardener bring a ladder to the garden?
Because he wanted to reach the high-growing plants and see the view from the top of the trees. Why did the gardener plant a light bulb in the dirt? Because he wanted to grow a power plant.
Why do trees always seem to be so good at keeping secrets? I suppose it is because they have spent so many years just standing around listening to everyone else talk.
Why do trees always seem so calm?
Because they are branching out and staying rooted in their environment at the same time.
Why did the carpenter bring a ladder to the bar? Because he heard the drinks were on the house. Why did the carpenter bring a ladder to the bar? Because he heard the drinks were on the house. Why do trees always seem so calm? Probably because they are well rooted in their environment and never feel the need to rush their growth.